Okay, now we're going to have as guest one patient. And the reason why I had Wendy come on first is because the stupid blogger on the web, they had posts from Marita and they keep saying that she's not a real person. She is our webmaster. Or she is my daughter. She's not an actual patient. And then when she insisted on it, they said, well, you really might have had a tumor, but you really don't have cancer. And she kept insisting and they kept slandering her. So we decided, okay, we'll have her as a guest, and she's going to tell you her story, which goes on for a long time, years of her struggle with cancer. Okay, go ahead. Let's have Marita.
Hello.
Hi.
Can
go ahead,
you hear
Marita.
me?
Tell us. Yeah, you're on, and tell us about your experience with cancer. What happened to you over the years?
Well, I hear there are a lot of funny stories on your show today, but I am actually coming from the serious side. I was one of those people who was told that I was going to die. So after I had your treatment, I waited for a while, and when I realized, hey, my tumors are going away, I was ecstatic, and I'm trying to tell everybody what this treatment did for me. So what I want to bring up here before I get into my story is that very often it is people's and patients' own attitude that stops them from believing anything else than what they have been brought up with. I have tried to tell my story on various cancer forums, most of which I got banned from. I have been met with disbelief, ridicule, and comments bordering on abuse. There is censorship in the U.S., and there is no such thing as freedom of speech. Not only do the administrators of the forums not like what I have to say, but the patients themselves do not want to hear about it either. And here are some of the comments I have received. This is not a site where you should be messing with people's heads and emotions. Another one was, conventional treatments have undergone decades of research. They are tried and tested and give the best results. If there was a successful treatment out there, everybody would know about it. This is not a place for BS. I don't know if I am allowed to say the word here. Another comment was, my oncologist assured me he would not have me go through chemo if there was a less invasive route. He is an honorable man. Another comment, this sounds like a sales pitch to me. When you forego chemo, you forego life itself. So that is I just wanted to bring those things up. My story is that in 2002, which is now 8 years ago, I had breast cancer. I found a lump, and I took it to the doctor, and they biopsied it, and they said it was suspicious. So 2 or 3 days later, I was in hospital. I didn't know anything about alternatives or any other methods. At that time, I completely trusted them. I did exactly what the doctors told me to do. Actually, I was going into hospital for a lumpectomy. They said to me, if I can get away with a lumpectomy, I would need radiation afterwards. So I went in for the lumpectomy. They did it, and the next day they said to me the margins were not clear. I had to go into theater again to have the breast cut off. That's what they did, and while they were at it, they also took all the lymph nodes. Well, I don't know all of them or most of them. I really don't know how many, but the axillary dissection took the lymph nodes out of the armpit, and it turned out that 7 out of 10 were positive. But I was doing not so bad after that. Of course, I couldn't lift up my arm for about 8 months or so. I had to do exercises. It The area is still all dead under there. And then shortly after the mastectomy, I had chemo 6 times, 6 courses. And then I had tamoxifen for 5 years. And I was doing fine. For 5 years, I was fine. And after 5 years, I discovered a lump at my neck. But because 6 or 8 years earlier, I had had another lump a little bit further back on my neck, which had been a non-malignant lump. They just cut it out. The dermatologist cut it out, and they said it was non-malignant, which made me think that this one was one of those again, a benign lump. So I really did not pay that much attention to it. I just thought, I'm going to have it cut out one of these days. But the lump grew, and I was still under the wings of an oncologist for blood tests, and because I had just got immigrated into the United States, I had blood tests done every 6 weeks, and this carried on for about 8 months, but the blood test always showed that everything was fine. The blood test did not detect that there was cancer in my body. Until after about 8 months, and after all these blood tests, the oncologist said, would I consent for...
Okay, we're going to have a break now. Marita, we're having a break right now, and a news break, and we're going to continue after, okay? Okay, we are back from the break, and we got still Marita. She needs to go on with her story. So go ahead, Marita.
So I consented to the biopsy, and after the biopsy, the oncologist told me that this is a recurrence from the breast cancer I had previously, 5 years before that. And he made an appointment for me with a radiation specialist, and they suggested 40 radiation treatments to the neck. By that time, I was on the internet frantically, literally day and night, and I read so many stories about people having problems with their esophagus after radiation treatments to the neck. After all said and done, I declined the radiation treatment. But after the biopsy, more lumps came up. So I think the biopsy actually made this happen. When they saw that more lumps were coming up my neck, they said that radiation would not do it anymore. I now needed chemo again, which I declined as well. Then I was told that this is a serious disease and I was going to die from this, sooner or later. They did not say when. What I had was ISLM, ipsilateral supraclavicular lymph node metastasis, which is on the same side above the collarbone lymph node metastasis. I think they are still arguing about whether this is a regional recurrence or a distant recurrence. They're not sure about that. So they did not tell me what stage I was in or how long I had to live or anything. But the information I got from the internet about ISLM, there is not a lot of information about that. From what I picked up is that the median survival rate is 18 months after diagnosis, which means I was supposed to be dead by April last year, 2009. My 18 months would have been up. So I had declined radiation and I had declined chemo, and I then went heavily into all sorts of alternatives. I did dieting, juicing, all sorts of supplements, spent a fortune on that. No meat, no sugar, no carbohydrates, and I kept on losing weight. I am not sure that I lost a lot of weight because of the cancer. I doubt it. I doubt that. I think I lost a lot of weight because of this very strict diet. More lumps came up. There was also a lot of short nodes at the neck, which are tiny little pits everywhere, just above the collarbone, as well as 4 lumps at my side chest wall. Altogether, now forward 18 months, I am on heavy diets for 18 months, and I'm frantically searching, and eventually I found your clinic on the internet. That's how long it took me to find it. The information is not that easy to find.